Good morning. This is She Needs Grit podcast, and I'm your host, Samantha Varner. I am at a time in the year where we're about to get back to school. I am knee deep in figuring out what my new calendar is going to look like. And so today's episode is going to talk a little bit about that. It's going to talk a little bit about that thing in your business that is just your calendar shifting, right? And life on the back end, right? Not even in your business necessarily, but on the back end starts to change, starts to shift. And you need to be able to roll with the punches, figure out a way that feels less stressful for you, less chaotic for you. And I am here maybe not with a solution for this today, but certainly I can give you a couple of ideas of what I'm currently doing. I'll tell you a little bit about how I'm currently struggling, and I will, if nothing else, I hope impart to you that this is just the reality of being an entrepreneur, of being a parent, of maybe just being a human being, right? So, we're going to give ourselves a whole lot of space and understanding as we transition from one season to the next. And this is going to be applicable more than once throughout the year. And I want you to come back to this episode. I want you to come back to this reminder that we are building our businesses to support our lives. And so, what that means is that your business is always the secondary, right? Always the supporting cast member to your life. And it's okay that sometimes the business gets to be on the back seat. So let's have a little conversation about that today because I am really, truly right in the midst of it. I have most of you, if you've been listening for a while, you know I have four kiddos. I this year have one going into high school, one in junior high, and two kids in elementary school. And so that means, at least where I live, that, well, it means a couple of things. It means I'm going to be inundated with school emails. And I don't know about you, but a lot of times I don't read them. I feel like there's a lot of them. So I feel justified in my not reading them. But reality means I end up sometimes scrambling. So my goal for this 2022-2023 school year is that I'm going to try and set aside time to read the school emails. There's a wealth of information in there. I just don't always catch it, right? So there's that. So three different schools, three different starting and finishing times. That's going to mean a little bit of juggling, right? And one of the things that I'm doing as a business owner in anticipation of that, I keep looking up because I'm looking at my calendar. So, first thing I did, this is probably a couple years ago now, is I have a huge calendar on my wall in front of my desk. And it's kind of a whiteboard one where I can wash off what's going on. I can put things in. And what I've done is I've put all of the kid days off and early dismissal, all that kind of stuff. I've put that up there already. So I can kind of at a very quick glance look up and see when I've got days that I'm going to have to take off work, when Christmas holidays are going to happen, when we're back to school. And so what that allows me to do is plan for the year. Now, I don't put all of the minutia detail on here because it would be overwhelming with my kids' stuff, with sports practices, etc. So what I do is I just high level it. What days are they home? What days do I need to figure out what I'm doing if they're at home? So that's up there. That makes me feel better already in that I now know what that looks like. This year, I've made a decision that I'm going to work, well, this summer. Let's talk about this summer a little bit. And I think this will help your transition. But I made a decision this summer that I was going to only see clients 2 days a week. What that allowed for me to do is Monday and Friday became kind of admin slight days, but the afternoons primarily were with the kids. Tuesday, again, I have time to work on my business, right? Not being the employee in the business. And it allowed me more flexibility. So, what I've learned from that experiment this summer is that 2 days of working for me with client appointments back to back to back to back feels very frantic-y. the rest of my week feels very open and very lovely. So there is going to be some tweaks into the fall. Am I ever going to spread my client meetings out over every single day of the month? I'm absolutely not. Will I need a little bit more spread so that I have time to get a coffee and have lunch? Yes, I do. I did not do that this summer, so those 2 days were a bit scrambly. But I want you to take the time to evaluate, what does your life look like? Where do you need to be other places? What days are just crazy? And how can you create more white space in those days so that you can show up the way you need to show up all of the time? I really, really think that doing this and planning ahead for things like Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas holidays, back to school. For me, my kiddos go back to school the 17th of August. So that means that that week leading up to it, 14th, 15th, 16th, I'm going to be very, very conscientious that there are no big work projects in there. I am going to be 100% available for the kids. We're going to have meet the teacher. We're going to have go back to school shoe shopping. The ages that my kids are means that I am buying a lot of shoes all of the time. So if any of you have kids in that mid-age range, especially boys, that seem to outgrow their shoes before they're even scuffed up, I feel you deeply. I feel like I'm basically turning into a shoe store myself. So I am making sure to carve out that time in these transitions of my personal life so that my business doesn't get kind of the short end of the stick and that I can show up for my kids in the way that I really, really want to. So that's really critical. Um, it's taken me a lot of years, guys. My oldest kid is 14. It's taken me a long time to realize that there are certain very busy times of the year that I need to take a step back. I need to reevaluate. I need to realize my schedule is going to ebb and flow throughout the year. Um, and I have done this with varying degrees of success years past, and I will continue to kind of do that. And I'll probably have it sorted out to be an ideal scenario right when the last one leaves to go to college. So it is what it is, right? So, in that, I think the best use of your time, if you're thinking like, oh, yeah, I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed, I'm starting to feel like I don't know how to fit it all in, I'm starting to feel like my days are going to be very crunched. Part of me knows this is just a season, it's a very short little blip, right? Come August 17th, when kids are back in school and they're in school for 6 hours at a time, the amount of flexibility and freedom I have for just managing other people goes down significantly. So come up with a plan, give it a go, but know that you're getting to that stage of more time availability. That's really important. And this works for any stage of having kids at home and building a business at home. Okay. One of the things I think we sometimes forget is that we're in control of our schedule, which is ridiculous, right? Because as entrepreneurs, 90% of us, when I talk to clients, decide to do an entrepreneurial gig because they want more time freedom. And what we sometimes do is we fall into that trap of working all the time, feeling like we have no flexibility in our time, when the reality is you are the boss. You can figure out how many hours you want to work, how much you want to charge, how you want to get paid, and what comes first. So if you're struggling in this area and you are just feeling like this is difficult, this episode was meant to give you an idea that you can do it a different way. So all I want you to walk away with is, hey, I could look at my calendar. It doesn't have to be the way I've always done it. I could actually just create a new way and see how it works. That's it. You're the boss. So you just need to act like it. Whew, that's a good line. I was watching a movie last night with a girlfriend and her daughter and my daughter, and we were watching the movie, which now I can't think of the name of it, which was last night. Okay, this is also a thing. Um, okay, Kim, cut this part out. and I'll figure out the name of the movie. Hold on. Just cut this part out. The name of the movie. Okay. So I was watching a movie last night with my girlfriend and her daughter and my daughter, and that was one of the lines, right? You're the boss. You just need to act like it. So great line, great movie. It was Hidden Figures, which was so inspiring, especially watching these incredibly brilliant women take control of their own destiny at a time that it was hard and really make things happen for them. So if you're looking for one of those kind of movies, then I cannot encourage you to watch Hidden Figures enough. But you're the boss. So act like it. Make your schedule work for you in whatever stage of life you are. If you're a parent, if you're not a parent, make it work for you in a way that means it feels good, that you're working the amount that you want to be working without overworking, without killing yourself. So I'll leave you with that today. Take a look at that schedule, put it up in front of your desk, and figure out a way that you can make this time of life or that next seasonal transition easier for you. And all you have to do is be the boss. All right, guys, I will talk to you next week.